The choo-choo train is choo-chooing. We're just burning it out right now, getting it prepared for smoking some meat. Look at that. How cool is that? Well, first impressions are it's real easy to keep the temperature where you want it with this. I've just been controlling the temperature with the opening there. I've been trying to keep it around that temperature, 350, 400 degrees, to just smoke this thing out for the first time, that's all. And I haven't really experimented with this yet, like opening and closing that, but I imagine that would work too. But yeah, so far so good. Oh, here's the interesting thing. This is my little storage compartment underneath here. It stays completely cool. Like it's only just above ambient temperature, which is amazing. But I guess it has to do with there's actually an air gap between the hot part and there. So yeah, I could store anything in there safely. That's awesome. Yep, it's working great so far. Well, it's gonna be my first brisket, well, first piece of meat at all on my new smoker. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's all coated in its rub. Nothing to do but throw it on here and wait. Well, we're an hour in, and everything's going pretty good with the smoker. Although my temperatures got a little too high. Don't worry, we saved it. I managed to cool it off a little bit. But yes, it was running a little too hot. Turns out that not all wood is created equal. This is a new batch of wood, and it was a little hotter than expected. So, yeah, I'll show you. So, yeah. I want 275 and it was like 375. It was a little too hot. So I closed off my baffles on the end of the end here. See, close those suckers right off. And that wasn't enough. So then what I did was I cracked open this. I just cracked it open just a little bit, and then that brought the temperatures down. So we're all good now. Only another, I don't know, 11 hours of this to go. Okay, it's been 3 hours of watching over everything. This will be the first time that I open it up and check it out. I have no idea what to expect. Oh my God, it's looking amazing. All right, so I have apple cider vinegar here. Let me give that a little spritzy spritz. And my moisture container here is completely dry, so I'm gonna refill that. Gotta keep the moisture up in there, apparently. All right, it's looking fantastic. So we're just gonna close that back up. And from this point forward, I'm gonna check it every 30 minutes. All right, we are 5.5 hours into our smoke. It's time to check temperature and humidity. All right, I got gauge here, or the probe. Yeah, the last couple times I've checked it has been about this temperature. They call this the stall because the temperature stalls. So the internal temperature, yeah, it's a little hot over to the edge there, but in the middle it's still not hot enough. So what happens is the moisture coming off, hold on a second, I gotta turn, all right. The moisture coming off here takes the heat with it, like evaporates, and so it just stays. When, I'm no expert, but when it's out of moisture, or like moisture is reduced, then the temperature will start to rise again. And at that point, we're gonna wrap it. But right now, it's stalled because it's evaporating the moisture out of it. And I am delaying that by giving her a little spritz of apple cider vinegar. Usually after checking the meat, it cools off, like the temperatures cool off a lot. So I take this opportunity to check on the wood. And the burst of air going into here usually is enough to bring the temperature back up to the 275 that I'm looking for. Okay, I didn't videotape it, but we're 7 hours in, and the stall, it's past the stall, and it was like hitting 175 all the way around, except for one little spot right there, just one little bit that it was 165, but based on that, I decided to wrap it. So now it's all wrapped, and put it in back, and now it's gonna cook the rest of the way without absorbing any other smoke. Okay, we're 8.5 hours in, and I just checked the temperatures with the probe, and there definitely was a trend of it getting hotter as it got closer to where the firebox is. So it was 198 at the coolest part, and it was 208 at the hottest part. So what I did was I just flipped the whole thing around, and I'm gonna let it stew in there for another half hour or so. We'll check it again, and if we have pretty good temperature all the way across, I'm looking for 203 to 205. If we have that all the way across on it, I'm gonna pull it out, and then just gonna let it rest then for the next hour or two, and then we're gonna slice it up. We're gonna try it out. Okay, well that's now 9 hours. It took 9 hours from putting it on the grill to pulling it off. So now probably the worst part, the waiting 2 hours. I gotta wait 2 hours before I can cut into this thing. So anyways, I will, that'll be the next part of the video, will be me cutting into it. So hopefully it's perfect. Okay, so it's been 2 hours since I've taken this off the smoker. And only now is it down to 145 degrees where we can cut into it, all right? We had to let it rest for 2 full hours. So now we're gonna open her up and see what we got. This is the first time. Okay, all right. I think this is, all right. Well, that looks maybe a little overdone. That part there. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. It doesn't seem overdone.
It's delicious, but overdone.
Oh, it's very good, but a little overdone.
More.
Well, let's take a little bit of that. Try that.
Nice smoke ring.
This is very tasty. Maybe I'm cutting this wrong, but it's very tasty. Well, I think I need to learn how to cut and trim brisket better, but it's very tasty. And I think what happened here was it was too close to the firebox and it was hotter there, because I have the 2 temperature gauges and the one gauge always showed higher than the other. I think maybe I should have, every time I checked it, flipped it. Maybe flip the direction of it so it would have heated more, because it definitely heated the one side more. So I learned some stuff, but it's very good tasting meat.